Especially in the rural areas, some of these students have to spend an hour, hour and a half, up to 2 hours one way on the bus just to get to school. So for many of these students, without transportation, they don't go to school.
This is of critical importance to rural areas where students often travel more than 50 miles to get to school. Thank you.
Thank you.
One after another, Education Coalition members and education activists shared with the Assembly Budget Committee their pleas of support for legislation seeking to restore funding for school buses. SB 81 would undo the trigger cut made by the governor that will eliminate funding for the home-to-school transportation programs starting in the middle of February. Assemblymember Wesley Chesbro thanked all of the witnesses for their efforts to protect school bus funding.
It's tough times. It's not easy to talk about equity. Everybody's concerned about their interests. Each district's concerned about their kids. So it really takes, I think, rising above individual points of view to be willing to try to join together to eliminate an extreme inequity that has been created. The pulling of the trigger by the governor creates serious problems in many districts. It's a catastrophic problem in my district and in other rural parts of California. The folks from the Southern Humboldt District were only able to say a few words, but let me say eliminating the school transportation system creates dangerous situations for many children across California, but in my district it means that it will be impossible for many children, in fact, if not most children in some districts, to attend school at all. For instance, children in Garberville have no other transportation options for going to school. I think the president of the school board said there's no sidewalks in Southern Humboldt County. There's also no public transportation systems. Parents would have to drive as much as 3 hours each way to get their children to and from school. Very few, if any, of these parents could transport their children and keep their jobs, and as a result, the school district would lose ADA, and families would either not send their kids to school or have to move away in order to have their live somewhere where they can get their kids to school. The additional financial hit to a rural community would be devastating. I think we can put this on the governor's desk, and I'm very, very hopeful he'll sign it.
After the bill was passed, Assemblymember Chesbro urged the Budget Committee to quickly send it to the Assembly floor so it can get to the governor before the trigger cuts take effect.
Time is of the essence with this bill, and I don't know whether the committee is in any position to expedite its arrival to the floor, but I just wanted to make a point of that and say it could make the difference between kids missing school and people being laid off if we don't move it to the floor as quickly as possible.
So noted.
This report was produced by the Speaker's Office of Member Services.